So again, good afternoon. My name is Ota Novotný.
And my name is Mirek Umlauf.
And we both will be guiding you through the Data Project Challenge 2023. It's your challenge and your project. We have spent 2.5 or 3 months together. And today is the evening when the best 5 selected projects will be presented. It doesn't mean that the rest of 10 are not the best ones. They are also very good, but they didn't make it to the final. But it happens. This is the way how it goes. So, now to the organization of this evening, when in the end, there will be a prize of 40,000 crowns for the winning team. We'll start with the introduction of our jury. Then I will handle the word to Mirek, who will guide you through the team presentations. Then we'll have a jury some time just to sit down and talk together about their judgment. And then we will present you the winner. It's easy, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah. Okay, so just to start, in order not to prolong that, let me introduce our jury. First is Ivana Šedivá. Ivanka, nowadays, I try to summarize what you are doing, but there would be a full page of that. And you are the mentor, marketing expert, and I say corporate background. And I'm very glad that you are helping us with the data project and other things at the university. Thank you very much. Then we have a Ondra Fatka. It's a Lundegard. Did I tell you good? Company Lundegard, and I am very glad that Ondra, who is one of our most active MBA students, now MBA graduates, has taken part in our jury. Thank you very much. Then we have a Martin Potančok, representing Voice of the University of Economics and Business Prague. And you know Martin, you had an opportunity to talk to him. I think, did you assign 4 grades to some of these students, or everyone has passed? Everyone. Okay, then you could be in a jury. Okay. Then Honza Řehák. You have met Honza in the beginning as one of the dragons, and I think today he made the same role in the semifinals. And Honza is a negotiator, it's primary role, and then of course the presentation and negotiation contest judge. So yeah, you are here, you are right. Thank you for helping us. Okay. Then Hanna Šnáblová. Hanka, we have met via service design, and then Hanka is helping us with the IT and entrepreneurship, and again with the judging. Thank you very much for coming and for adding your part to that class. Very good. Kuba Vancel. Kuba Vancel represents here the Škoda Auto, one of the partners of our challenge. And Kuba is again, one of the first MBA students of a data analytics and business. And he's specializing in manufacturing or production analytics. This is right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Then we have a Petr Fabera. Data analytics of ČSOB, one of our other partners. Thank you for being here with us. And you are financial analyst, data analyst, everything analyst. Responsible for a large team in ČSOB. Thank you for coming. Then we have a Jarda Břešťan. Jarda works for Siemens and he's a head of digital business. Siemens is one of our partners and Jarda is one of our former, it's the last 2 weeks ago, former MBA student, now MBA graduate. So thank you for coming. And last but not least, Vojta Tuma. CTO of Kebula. And he asked me whether he could be in a jury, whether he will be biased. We will see. So these are our jury members, and they are looking forward to the selected project. We have assigned the random order to the project, so do not count that we start with the low numbers going up or something like that. It's a random selection, random decision, and it's we're expert. The floor is yours, and you can invite the first team.
Thank you, Otto. Yes, it is truly random. So, esteemed jury, let me first welcome the team number 6.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Peter, and together here with Eva, we would like to present you our web application we developed for Česko Digital, which is a non-profit organization that specializes in IT projects. But first, again, well, we made it to the finals, which is great, but hopefully in an hour or two, we'll be the one celebrating the win of this competition. But it's not only about the competition, also celebrating the end of our first year, which was pretty amazing. So yeah, pretty great day. However, if we go back to the real world and to also talk about some unpleasant stories, then we can go back to February 2022, when the war in Ukraine started, and the people just had to run away from their homes. A lot of people wanted to help them, a lot of countries, and Česko Digital wanted to help them too. And they did with one of the projects called UMAPA. I already mentioned in the semifinals that the app was displaying the situation at the borders, how busy they are. What I didn't tell you is that the app evolved later, and now it serves as a basic guide or info map in every Czech city for people from Ukraine, and they can find information about doctors, education, psychological need if they need some, and so on. You can download the app after our presentation and look at it yourself. But how long do you think a project like this takes to get it done? Because at Česko Digital, it takes 1 month just to find the correct people for the position that are needed for that specific project. Let me introduce you again, Aneška and Romana, whose lives were pretty hard before they met us. Because the way they used to do the selection of the volunteers is that they had to go through 6 different Excel files, which have more than 20 columns, most of them free text, pretty messy. just to gather information about one volunteer. And you don't need just one volunteer for a project. On average, you need about 15 of them. Not only that, also, every volunteer they contact is sometimes not available for whatever reason you can think of. They are busy at their work. They are at a holiday or something, whatever you can think of. So also Anežka and Romana told us that on average, it takes to contact around 8 people for each position. Therefore, if we multiply these two numbers together, we have 120 volunteers that Anežka and Romana need to find in those messy Excel files and also contact them, for example, via email. Furthermore, Anežka and Romana told us that just because this process is so much time demanding, they are sometimes not able to go through the whole database of over 6,000 volunteers, which is a lot. So sometimes they are looking at volunteers that joined Česko Digital in the last 6 or 7 months. And finally, just to give you an idea, this is one of the columns in those Excel files. And now try to imagine using a basic Excel filter. And this is just one cell. Pretty horrible. So now I'll let Eva tell you more about how their process is much faster and much easier.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so this is the state of their work when we took on the process on ourselves. What we did is that we developed a scoring algorithm that recommends the best fit volunteers or mentors from the whole database based on the inputted skills, the needed ones. And this process is followed by a nearly automatic mailing system. All of this is accessed through a web application. But why waste time describing the solution when we have it already up and running? And I can show you a few snapshots of that. So firstly, we have a login page for the security, and that is followed by the most important part of the web application or the whole solution itself. It's the form. Here we can choose from if we want to filter through volunteers or mentors. It is followed by the second part in the middle, which is 3 blank boxes that are waiting for the recruiter to input specific strings or text that then will be a part of the automatic mail template. And the last part, the skills, there the recruiter can input specific skills with needed seniority and also optionally wait for the possibility to prefer one skill to the others. When hitting submit, we get the output. In the output, we can see the volunteers, we can expand the output, and we see the score and some additional columns about each volunteer. On the left side, you can see the opportunity to check checkboxes. When you check the people, you send an automatic email to them. So when you hit send, you see the same people, their mailing address in the hidden copy, and you see the template of an email that is already ready to be sent, but still open for the possibility to be adjusted by the recruiters, just the way they wanted us to do it. It looks pretty simple, right? Compared to the way it was before. We saved a bunch of times through doing this. But now you may come to the question, how does it work? And if it is truly that reliable. Let's shed some light to that. Our solution is solely cloud-based. It is transparent and scalable, meaning that if needed, it can be applied to other subjects following the same objective. When talking about the technologies used, you can see them at the top of the slide. They are all already an integral part of Česko Digital Technology Stack. And why? Because our main goal, besides wanting to build a solution that makes Česko Digital recruiting process more efficient, we wanted to make a solution such that it has no adoption barriers at all. So it's easy to use by Česko Digital and maintain it. And that's exactly what we did. And now comes the time for the burning questions of all. How much does it cost and what do we need? The answer might surprise you or some of you not. And it's quite simple. It costs nothing. All the technologies we use are already an integral part of Česko Digital Technology Stack, meaning that we do not broaden the needed skills inside Česko Digital, and they can maintain it as it is. And also, our solution does not add any additional costs to Česko Digital in monetary terms. It's thanks to the computational efficiency of our solution and also some non-profit free credits. On the other hand, we have a bunch of benefits. To be precise, we have 250,000 of them, because that's how much of crowns we save each year, growing with the number of projects. In other words, we save 50% of effort of Agnieszka and Romana, or if you want to hear it other ways, we save 100 person days per year. This looks quite good. And now the last question. What do we do now? What do we need? Well, our solution, as you see it now, is already up and running. We are already helping Česko Digital to be more effective, to save money and human labor, to be utilized in other ways that benefit me and Peter, and believe me, everyone in this room. Because as Česko Digital says, we are changing Czechia for the better through ones and zeros. Thank you for your attention, and please welcome my team on the stage, Peter, Carolina, and Adrian, and we are happy to answer all of your questions.
Thank you, Team 6. And now I invite our jury to ask the questions, and I'm looking forward to your answers. So, who is first from the jury?
Okay, thank you for the presentation. It was really nice. I would like to ask about the maintenance cost. You said that there is zero costs, but what about the maintenance?
Yeah, the maintenance is pretty simple, and in Česko Digital they already have some projects running on the technology we used in our project. So mainly it's set as they don't need to touch it, even though they can, because it's not a black box. We are not building some ML solution that they would not be able to maintain it. So they are fully trained in how to do that, and the people who are already employed in Česko Digital, they have the capacity to maintain it.
And they are working like cashless?
No. They are working in Česko Digital.
There is some costs, some human costs.
Yeah, but some minimal, like marginal costs on the way they do things right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Very interesting presentation, thank you. I would like to ask you about the prerequisite of that. Are you thinking about implementing something like that to help the volunteers maybe to input their data into the system in a way which would be beneficial, or which would enable Česko Digital to manage it even more in a more fast way, or more efficient way?
The way it is right now, when you are becoming a volunteer or mentor in Česko Digital, you get a form, and there you fill the skills. That's the part we saw in one of the first slides, that you are the manager of your own skills. So you can change it as a volunteer. And as it was before, Česko Digital kind of counted on that the volunteers would reach out themselves. But to be honest, majority of the volunteers are like experts in IT, that do not have the time to watch through the Česko Digital new projects. So we wanted to build a solution that the projects would come to them easily. So that's the main point of building such a solution.
Is there a possibility that you manage the workload, basically that you do not double assign the person based on the matching skills, for instance?
Yeah, of course. If we can go back already to the output, there is already a one column that says aktuálně na projektu.
I can see. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
May you move to the next slide, please, with the email? So does it automatically input all the email addresses? Oh yeah, now I see it's BCC. Okay, my question was about GDPR. Good.
Yeah.
Can I ask about how do you plan to expand the basic database? Because your value depends on from how much volunteers I can choose the right one.
Well, the database, as I already mentioned, the database is managed by Česko Digital, and according to the GDPR, we are not making our local copies like permanently. It is changing with the change of the original source Česko Digital database, and they are managing the database. So it's dynamic. It changes over time. People can delete themselves or add themselves. So it's like it answers the question how we are managing it. It's automatic from the Česko Digital databases.
Thank you.
I have a question. So thank you for your presentation. Can you please show me the slides with the benefits? Because my question would be directed right there. So could you please tell me like how exactly you calculated those 100 person days and the costs of this? Or I guess this is like the benefits in terms of they save this money, or how this was calculated. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's how much they save. We took the number of projects they did in 2022 and then multiply it with how many hours this used to take them, as they told us, and also with an average salary for some kind of HR recruiter.
So thanks for a great presentation. I really like it. I'm really glad that you choose Česko Digital as your project. I'm also one of the volunteers there, and I hope the rest of the room will join afterwards. As far as you have been doing the volunteer work for the Česko Digital, are you willing to continue? Like, have you one of those who can be email sent to, registered, and you will
Yes,
continue?
all of us are registered there.
Okay, so let's keep it. We will make the change.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
So what other questions has our expert jury have? No more questions? Okay, with this I will thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will slowly announce while you are receiving an applause you deserve. So guess who is the next team? I will invite now team number 13 to go on stage. And the stage is yours.
Dear jury, dear guests, welcome once again. My name is Jakub, and together with my team, we would like to present you our data project called SureBuddy. Before we start our presentation, we would like to introduce you to Peter. This is Peter, an ordinary man who loves sports, and has some extra money on his bedside table that he would like to invest somehow, maybe like some of you. He's not familiar with any type of investment, and choosing the right one is difficult for him. That's why he focuses on sports betting. However, like 99% of bettors, he's unable to make long-term profit from sports betting. Well, can I ask you, which one of you is similar to Peter? I'm sure there are many of us. Then you know this very well. Yes, you guessed it right, it's losing ticket. But what if we could find an opposite bet for Peter and for you? For example, whether both teams score a goal. There are only two options. They score or they don't. The right combination of these bets and distribution of deposit makes sure profit, because one of these bets is always winning. This is possible, and it's called sure bet. Sure bet is a market anomaly that can be exploited through algorithmic betting strategies involving multiple bets by different bookmakers. That sounds great and simple, right?
But it's not. Everything is not as easy as it seems. At 8 betting companies in Czech Republic, like Fortuna, Tipsport, Saskabet, there are over 1 million unique odds listed at one moment, and only few of them can be sure bet. Another problem is that the odds can change from time to time, and it's very important to analyze them very quickly to find some sure bet. And that cannot be done by your own hands. This is the reason why we have there for Peter and many others our solution, our service called SureBuddy. We hope that SureBuddy can make Peter rich and happy again. Long story short, we combined two techniques: odd scraping with data analysis, which together form our solution called SureBuddy.
However, in reality, it's a cycle of several microservices that together form an algorithmic discovery engine. First, we scrape data from bookmakers by crawler, then we store it in a storage, and then the data is moved and transformed using ETL to database. This is followed by mapping the pairs of records and calculation of the sure-bet ratio using a simple formula. Values less than 1 are marked as a sure-bet. As you can see on our front end, our intention was to show you some found and verified sure-bets during a pilot phase, which can be taken as a proof that SureBuddy really works. So, we can say that Peter only needs to choose from the current offer, then use our calculator to set his stake, including calculating the potential sure profit, and after that he has to place bets with bookmakers on his own. And that's the whole process.
And according to the data that we have from the last 14 days, we get around 5 sure bets every 30 minutes. And there is a very high chance of having at least 2.5% sure bet every day. And so if we calculate, so for example, if Peter will have 10,000 Czech crowns at the beginning of the month, and he will place a 2.5% sure bet every day, then at the end of the month, he will have 110% profit. So that means he will have 21,000 Czech crowns. And thus we think that SureBuddy doesn't necessarily have to be only for bettors. It might be also an interesting choice for investors. And we were curious, so we made a survey among the people who already used something like SureBuddy. And the results were there that average monthly subscription was about 3,000 to 5,000 Czech crowns, even though at some points there were no sherbets at all, and that lasted even for hours. So we would like to be at least better than this competition. And because of this all, our future plans are first to expand from only 2 bookmakers to all of the Czech bookmakers in order to make sure that we have all the sherbets that are possible. Also, we would like to introduce a subscription plan and subscription tiering. And also, at the end of September, we would like to release the full version of SureBuddy. And if possible, we would like to raise the awareness of SureBuddy to not only bettors, but also outside of this community. And make SureBuddy bigger, and possibly even bigger. So, that was SureBuddy, your best buddy for algorithmic betting, and we thank you for your attention. And thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Team 13. And I bet that there are questions from our larger jury. So, who goes first?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. I really like it. I see money behind it. I don't see Kabula, doesn't matter. And are you going to be one on the market? Do you see any competitors at the moment on the market? Because you said there are a few algorithms which can be used during the betting.
Yeah, as far as Czech Republic stands, we will probably be one of the only few services like this. We've managed to identify possibly like 2 or 3 similar ones, but what they offer is really like lacking in features, and primarily it's lacking in the amount of sherbets found. So for example, I think Saskabet or not necessarily Saskabet, but like some indexing portal offers a similar service, but it probably identifies only about 2 to 3 sherbets like per hour or even more. I don't know. I haven't stayed there too long to actually, you know.
Okay, thanks. Are you expecting some problems with the law? Because you are making recommendations for the betting, and that needs to be covered like from the legal part, I would say.
Depends, right? We're primarily giving the users access to the data. We're not recommending them what to do with it, right? We're not making the bets by them. We're not trading by them. We're only collecting the data, and the service only serves the purpose of providing the data to the customer. So, again, as we mentioned in the presentation, it's up to it's essentially up to the customer to place those bets or to decide what they want. Yeah.
And maybe it's something like a gray area, but it's not illegal and nothing. It's illegal.
Okay, so last and short question. I know that one of you has a negative account regarding the betting. Have this app already fixed it?
Maybe not yet, but we try it, and yeah, we have a profit now.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thanks for the presentation. Following the questions regarding legal aspects and like some banned account, how does this influence responsible gaming? Because each platform is like working on that. Are you also considering the aspects of responsible gaming?
It's an interesting consideration. To be honest, we've primarily focused on developing the service as of this moment, so not quite, but yeah, I mean, the option is there, and we're definitely down to it, right? I think I'm speaking for the whole team.
Okay, thanks for the answer.
Yeah, thank you.
How often are you refreshing the data for the algorithm?
The data is currently being refreshed about every 10 minutes. We'd like to take it down to about 5. That's what we see as like a reasonable rate at which the odds will stay constant for the actual user to verify stuff and place those bets. And also some of the competitors outside of Czech Republic, like the global ones, also proclaim that their data is being refreshed every 5 minutes. So yeah, that's our target.
Okay, and how does it take when the results are ready?
When
the
the
algorithm, the results, the sure bets.
Oh, how long is the... it essentially is broken up again into a couple of microservices. So I will split it into 2 parts because it's probably like... I can't really tell you as a whole. So basically, as we're scraping the data, the algorithm is running constantly. So any moment we get some more data, either from the bookmakers' APIs or from their webs, we essentially run our algorithms. It's mostly SQL-based. So the actual algorithm that finds those sure bets is fully written in SQL. It's not that complicated, even though it's long. As far as mapping like the teams or matches or every other essential part of the metadata that is necessary to be able to like correctly claim that this is a sure bet and the data is valid, that is using like a distance matrix, and it's implemented in Python. That runs in about 20 seconds. The SQL algorithm runs in about 5 seconds. So as the whole process is essentially cycling through, you know, the crawlers are scraping the data, and the algorithms are extracting the sure bets. This in total may take up to 3 minutes if I'm being like really conservative. Right? It's not slow. We really tried our best in making it fast, and we'll make it faster.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I would like to ask 1 or 2 questions around monetization of the whole thing. So you said that the customer is somebody who is betting, right? But I guess they are not paying for using the application. Am I right?
That is correct. The data is really hard to get for any normal customer. You can't really scan through thousands of pages of the bookmakers.
Thank you. So it means that the money must be coming from some other side. Through your pilot, were you able to identify how much, let's say, the engagement of the bettors are increasing, or what is the business benefit really for somebody who would like to either invest or start using this app?
Well, I guess 2 of the main benefits are that it reduces the risks of you placing bets and losing, and the other benefit is that depending on how high the, let's say, percentages of the possible win, you are winning money.
So who will be paying for the app and for its development and maintenance and so on?
I would define the customer as of right now as someone who already understands the general concept of this and is either using a similar service or at least is willing or considering using a service like this right now. As my colleagues mentioned during the presentation, we'll obviously like to expand, but at the moment we like to keep things pretty simple, at least for us, while we develop the thing, right? While we scale it and eventually... Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you reconsidered the alternate exit strategy? Okay, no, thank you.
Okay, so maybe last question. Have you talked about or have you introduced it to any bet company in the Czech Republic?
Not really.
Or to live sport?
We aren't necessarily opposed to it. I think we were considering a scenario where if somebody really wanted to possibly buy us out, we might consider it. At the moment, we're pretty sure that we're going to provide an API for more skilled or let's say I would call it a power user, so that if they have their own systems, that are essentially set up to do betting, that they can consume our data and can easily access these share bets and, you know, trade essentially, you know, using our API. And for that, we definitely need to think of like a separate pricing tier, obviously, because again, as we scanned through the competition, we saw that similar APIs are much more expensive than the general service, right?
Okay, do you think that the bet companies will perceive you as a threat to their business?
At the moment, we think that they will come into this, if they ever, you know, get the notice of us, with a healthy degree of skepticism, as I'm sure all of you are coming into it. So if at some point we really manage to scale this thing, that it's possible, and we'll deal with it as we go, right?
Okay, thank you.
So thank you, Team 13. Big applause. And the next team, the third team to be on the final stage is team number 8.
$1,284. Do you know what that number stands for? Well, it's the approximate distance from Frankfurt to Barcelona. Or it's the price for 18 tequila shots. But that's not the area we want to talk about today. It's the average number of VYHLÁŠENÍ students who apply for Erasmus each year. And in cooperation with International Office, we have decided to make their process of Erasmus University selection much more pleasant and easier.
This is Bob. Bob is an ordinary student of the University of Economics and Business in Prague, who has heard from his friends that Erasmus is a great opportunity and experience. So he decides to go as well. But the first question that comes to his mind is how I should do it.
In the beginning, the process of selecting universities looked like this. This is the paper brochure which was printed for each student. Fortunately, now it's history. But let's take a look how the current solution looks like. It all starts with SharePoint, where you can find the list of universities. But Bob doesn't want to underestimate this process. So he wants to gather as much information as possible. And in order to do that, he is forced to go through these additional sources. University details, general conditions, cost of living, healthcare and safety data, university or local highlights, and finally, references to coordinators and reviews. It wasn't as easy as he previously thought. It cost him some nerves and gray hairs. As you can see, he is pretty angry.
Bob had to face with these crucial problems. Fragmentation of data, which causes a lot of time consuming and user discomfort. Based on faculty research, there are almost 66% of students who aren't satisfied with the current solution of Erasmus University selection.
Just like us, because the most of us went through this process as well. And based on these facts, we were motivated to come up with a change. And that's why we have created VYHLÁŠENÍ Erasmus Speaker. Let me briefly introduce you our solution. We have gathered all the important information into one place. With help of intuitive interface, students can gain information about key steps and milestones at their selection process at first. Then, and mainly, we provide an opportunity to easily select a university based on your own preferences and possibilities, which include study and geographical criteria. We also didn't forget to mention that there is a healthcare index, safety index, and cost of living information. Of course, students can view universities in detail with the main characteristics, such as university highlights, available spots, special requirements, and also we didn't forget to mention references, very important references to coordinators and reviews.
Do you see Bob? He's smiling and he's happy now. He could use our Erasmus Speaker.
For better understanding, let's dive into a little bit of architecture which powers Erasmus Speaker.
We went through 3 major phases. The initial phase involved gathering data from various sources. Our primary source was SharePoint, which was supplemented with structured Excel spreadsheets and the data retrieved from the Numbeo API. Next, we uploaded the data into Kabula. This step allowed us to transform the data into desired format. Once the data was appropriately formatted, we focused on developing an intuitive interface in Power BI.
And to summarize current situation, it's necessary to say that
this solution was made with the cooperation of the International Office of Prague University of Economics and Business in Prague. Secondly, we tested all this solution and we react to students' reactions. So it's up to date and it's good. It was released on 26th of June, and we know that also all reactions are positive. And first planned interaction with students will be next week because bachelor's degree students will have applications period.
Now and finally, let's find out together what are the key benefits of VYHLÁŠENÍ Erasmus Speaker. First of all, we benefit from time reduction in university initial selection process. Generally, there is a reduction from hours to minutes. To be concrete, we talk about 10 minutes on average based on user testing. We could manage to unify all relevant sources into only a single one. Erasmus Speaker is powered by modern technologies such as Power BI and Kabula. We have managed to make a deal with Numbeo API to gain free licensing for getting world data. Also, our solution is fully accessible to anyone. It can be nicely used in university presentation and advertisement, with focus not only to the general public, but also on high school students seeking Erasmus opportunities. Overall, it supports VYHLÁŠENÍ as a leader in the field of foreign programs. And of course, our solution undoubtedly supports and is in line with VYHLÁŠEní strategy. Especially, it's a pillar of internationalization with specific targets in student mobilities and global competencies.
And what about the future? Is the future bright or not? Firstly, we have to do the evaluation of the first ways. Secondly, we have to finish the maintenance plan with the VYHLÁŠENÍ. Next, we will do the handover with the international office. And then we are thinking about the expansion of the other Czech universities because they don't have any similar solution and they use only PDF files with lists of schools. And if this expansion proves successful, we would hope that it could help other schools, such as high schools.
We would really like to express our gratitude for the opportunity to stand here. It was such a great time creating Erasmus Speaker. And we are grateful that we can pay something back to VYHLÁŠEní, which invests a lot in us. And without this investment, we wouldn't be here. Ladies and gentlemen, VYHLÁŠEní Erasmus, from students to students.
Big thank you to the teammate also for the kind words. How does our jury see the bright future, which we just learned about? So the first question I already see.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. My question is that, so basically, as I see it, it's a website with information about the universities, but is there any, let's say, application process or approval process already in place? Or is it just one-way communication with that, basically where I can filter university with some, I don't know, description in it?
Yes, this is basically created only to focus on that initial process of selection, which was really painful at the beginning. And then to end this process, we provide link to in this application where you can apply for your Erasmus University.
Kebula?
Thanks. Lukáš, if you don't have a job, I would like to hire you as a sales guy. It was a really nice presentation.
Thank you.
My question is, I wish that something like this would exist before I go to the foreign university. I think 4 of you went somewhere. What was the most criteria you consider when you were choosing your Erasmus? Was it the healthcare status or something like this you showed, or was it something different?
As my point of view, the thing I struggled with the most were the filters, which I was missing in SharePoint. For example, I'd like to know where I can study IT, which I previously couldn't because the only search I could do was using Control F, which isn't very user-friendly. And also the cost of living, which I consider pretty amazing because, like we mentioned, we were supposed to go through the student interviews where I had to find the approximate spending of the students so I could get an idea how much would I spend at the Erasmus where I wanted to go.
Okay, thanks. And are you thinking about some recommendation system so someone can share, I was here, it was nice, I spent so much money for the whole stay? Because most values comes, from my point of view, from the recommendations from the real people.
There are 2 options, actually. First option is provided link to INSIS, where are students' reviews. And also with cooperation with international office, there is a highlight section which sums up some crucial things about that locality and specific university.
So in the end, someone can say, if you will go to the Norway in the winter, just prepare for 3 months of night.
Yeah, it's possible.
Thanks.
Next to the unexpected additional value for VYHLÁŠEní, have you thought about like offering this app to other universities as a prepaid or paid service?
Of course, yes. But at first, we would like to evaluate like online maintenance and actual testing on real students. and then we would like to develop and get better solution. And after this evaluation, we think to expand to another universities, and maybe first public point could be EduCon confederation with international office, and international office have already mentioned that they would like to present this solution to other universities.
If there would be such a service when you were thinking about going abroad to study, would you pay for such a tool that would help you to choose?
As a student, it's not a question for me, maybe, but for others. I'm the only one who didn't undergo this process. But as I heard from my colleagues, it was really painful. It could save me a lot of time. So you can add something to it.
I will pay it because it was for 3 weeks, I think, with the selection process, and the safety and healthcare index was very painful to find.
Okay, thank you.
It was a very interesting presentation, thank you. These kind of tools are dependent on reliability of data, right? So how actually you sorted this out? Do you have any process to make sure that I don't fill something and at the end of the day I find out that, oh, okay, but it's not 2 places anymore, but it's much less or whatever. How is this covered? That it's almost online valid information.
Yes, it's a really great question. We looked in the beginning on output side, which is a SharePoint with most valuable information. And there we made some changes about output fields, that there is now no possibility to make some bad spelling and mistakes like that. There is a field and a list and specific mandatory formula that you can fill, and it's really effective. And if there are some mistakes in our process,
yeah, so we've also implemented a test into our pipeline. So if we get some information about, so if we get incorrect data, we get notified that we've received inconsistent data, so we can fix it.
I was mostly concerned about not the data from the student, but data from the universities or from, yeah?
That's what we meant.
This is what I want to, okay, thank you.
May I ask regarding this, how often is the data updated?
Currently it's updated daily, but for further maintenance we would like to run it at least once in 14 days, and that's because it doesn't really need to run daily since the changes aren't made daily, and it would be just, I would say, inefficient to run it every day. So we decided to make it 14 days because 1 month is probably a long time, but 14 days was like a compromise between the two.
Okay, and does it have any sort of my preferences section? Do I have an account, so if I leave it, I come to it and I see the selection I pre-made, or do I have to every time tick whatever I'm interested in and get the list again and find out where I finished when I was reviewing it?
this is something that isn't actually in our solution, but we would really like to expand and improve it with this facility in future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will ask one question about the future development. What do you think? What are the possibilities, like this my section or recommendation engine? On what's our plans?
Basically, to develop, as I have already mentioned, this feature to export your data and for further analysis on your own. And then it's basically expansion to another universities. Yeah.
And also the other API, for example, the ranking of universities in the world, could be useful.
And can it help to choose the university? Like, or I need to just filter out what I want?
I think that some students, they want to select the schools which are really good in the world, and they do not select for the experiences. They take the schools for the teaching and learning.
Following on this thinking, for the future, are you considering to automate somehow or digitize the input of the data from the providing universities as well?
I think at some point there needs to be someone or something which takes care of the list of universities or the input on itself, and then the rest we can take care of. But I think the very input cannot be easily managed manually, since the list of universities are changing quite often, or there are like new negotiations with new universities, etc., etc. So I think this needs to be managed manually from the input.
But from that point of data loading, transformation, and that interface, it's fully automated.
So thank you, team. Thank you. Big applause. You deserve
Thank
it.
you.
And I will ask another team, another data project. And it's team number 10.
I fucking hate all people who think that Earth is not flat. Like, open your eyes, monkeys. Marcel, have you seen ever comment like this one before?
I mean, that's crazy. How is it possible that comment like you showed me is still online? Makes me wonder if there is any automated solution that helps moderators with comment like that one. I think we should do something about it, Ivan. And I already have the name for it. We will call it Toxicity Monitor.
Nice, that sounds good. So what will it do?
What will it do? So, of course, it should help moderators detect comment, like you just show me, in a faster way. It should give them also some sort of validation whether the comment is in a topic of discussion. What else should be there? Well, it should give them some basic overview of the whole comment section and the possibility for the better automation of deleting such comment. There is one problem. I have no idea how it works right now.
Well, lucky you. I know Mr. Banga, who is a business owner of IDNES Discussion Forum, and I know exactly how it works because I spent some time with real-life moderating.
Well, lucky me, so please explain.
Currently, at IDNES, there is 10 moderators going through tens of thousands of comments every day. That means they spend several hours daily by just sorting and deciding whether to delete or not these comments manually.
Manually, okay. Well, that doesn't seem very effective. So, if I understand correctly, it works like this. Am I right? Well, as I said, it's not very effective. I mean, think about the costs, the man days we could save. But most importantly, the mental drain it takes on moderators themselves that have to go through comments like you just showed me every single day for a couple hours daily. I mean, it must be horrible.
Well, this conversation happened 3 months ago, and since then we have made our own solution, and let me introduce it. Our team is me, Lukas, Marcel, Ivan, Misha, and Olda. And we have made our solution, which starts with importing quite a lot of data from different kind of data sources, different kind of discussion forums into our database, where we can run our machine learning and AI models and tools in order to classify the comments according to their toxicity and clearly display them in our website, where moderators can save time by sorting the comments according to their toxicity from the model. This helps them much more than, as we have already heard in Edness today, they only use filter for banned words, and the only thing they use is also a list of potentially dangerous words, which comments they include these words appear at the top of their table in order to decide whether to delete them or not. But our solution is better.
Our solution is better. Let's talk about benefits. The first benefit is speed. We are capable of detecting such comment much faster than ever before. That means our solution is faster, easier to use, and is capable of doing so in 31 languages, thanks to the fact that we use DeepL translator. Of course, we focus mainly on Czech language, because right now there is no model capable of doing so. Second benefit is scalability. It really doesn't matter whether your discussion forum has hundreds or thousands of comments, our tool will be able to handle it. With the rise of models like GPT or other AI models, there really isn't better time to use these resources for projects like this one. Next benefit is cost saving. After discussions with Edness, we know that it costs 200,000 crowns for them to manage their comment section monthly. We did some calculations, and we figured out that we could save 20 to 40% of costs. Lastly, but I think you will agree that it's the most important thing, we will make internet a safer place. By quickly and reliably identifying such toxic comment, we are able to stop the negative spread of this sort of behavior, therefore making internet a safer place. To summarize, our solution: faster, easier to use, scalable, saves quite a bit of money, and makes the internet a safer place.
And why are we telling you all this? Well, we need your help. Our solution will not work without financial support, which will be used for developing our application to another level. We would also like to build our own AI model for toxic comments classification. Building application like this one doesn't happen overnight. And that brings us to another thing we need: time. You can give us both. Give us your vote, and we will make internet a safer place and let comments like this one disappear. Thank you for being here.
Thank you to the whole team, number 10, for the enthusiasm and the well-structured presentation. And I assume you are now ready for the questions from our much larger jury. So, jury, what are your questions?
Thanks for the presentation. I would like to ask about toxicity. And how are you right now calculating the level? Because there was GPT, then toxicity. I've probably missed the way. How are you getting that? I've already seen several models being built in the US and other universities calculating that. So I would like to understand how you are doing that.
Yes, we are aware of the big question, what is the toxic comment and how to define the toxicity. And that's why we used two different approaches and gave two different output numbers for each comment. And the first one is from the original model we used with the translation to English, and then used the trained model in English. And the second one is from ChatGPT. And each moderator can compare these two numbers and decide on their own then whether it is toxic for them or not.
Okay, but are you having your own model under that? So if they are ticking this is not toxic for us, is it being propagated down there or not?
No. Not right now, but we want to develop our own model that will train on these kinds of data in the future.
Okay, thanks.
So I will ask meanwhile, he will get the microphone. So you mentioned Edness and how they do it. And so my question would be, so if you would be offering to them today the solution, how much you would charge and what's the business model for you?
So I don't think so this solution right now is possible to sell them, but that's why we want to develop our own model that we hope and we have heard from them they would like to buy, and it depends on how difficult it would be for us to develop the model, then the price would depend on that.
Thanks for the presentation. How are you going to avoid yourself to be a censorship tool? Because this is somehow being a censorship.
That's why the whole process is not fully automated, and that's why we only suggest which comments are toxic for the moderators, and the final word is still on the moderators, real persons, real people.
So it's just more helping the people to identify and where to look, because this has higher score, so just check this one.
Yes, and it saves their time because they see firstly the ones that are suggested as toxic.
Okay, thanks. And as you mentioned, you train your own model. So what did you?
Not now, not yet.
Not yet.
We want to in future.
So are you already asked Edness if they can provide you with the testing data, because they will have tons of selected comments?
Yes, it would take a lot of time because with the data it's difficult.
Okay, and you believe the Earth is not flat because Flat Earthers has the supporters all around the globe, so...
Yes, definitely.
Thanks.
If I'm not mistaken, you haven't said how much money you need from the investors this time. Do we know now how much money we need from the investors if we invest the money saved from the company?
So it's about 400,000 crowns.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask you why Edness owner, or not Edness owner, but the guy you showed, why doesn't he want to buy it right now?
So it was the first one we talked to, and later we can maybe ask also someone else, other newspapers.
Did he tell you why he doesn't want it? Does it not deliver? Does it not save time? Or is it not accurate? Or is he favoring comments about flat Earth?
Why
what
doesn't he want it right now from us, this one?
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's because of the context and because of the Czech language that is really hard to find the toxic things, the toxic insights in the comments. The Czech language is really white, colorful, yeah. And
is he right in that? Did you miss interpreted the comments?
Yes,
in your
in the
pilot?
translation, yeah. Sometimes in the translation, yeah. Also, they have the policy that they delete only comments that targetly say bad words about someone targetly and not about the whole society, for example. So it's hard then for the model to recognize it. And we think the ChatGPT would be good for it, and also our own model, which we will develop in the future.
Thank you.
So it looks like there are no more questions for you. Thank you very much. Applause for
Thank
the
you so much.
For the team 10. And now it's the last team in the final, the fifth team, and it's the team number 5.
So thank you. We are happy to welcome you at our presentation again. So, welcome from emotions. Are you aware that there is sent 10 billions of emojis in one day through the internet? And that 92% of online population use these emojis?
And what more, 70% of people believe that their images can express their feelings better than words. But why are we talking about it? Let's introduce a story about Emil and Emma. Emil and Emma are really close friends. They are classmates and they will be finishing their high school very soon, which means they won't see each other so often. Both of them are quite extroverted and emotional people. Because they are close friends, they have similar sense of humor. They often watch on the same video at the same time, and they are chatting about what they are seeing.
Besides watching videos together, they also communicate through the internet. As most young people, they use social media to share posts, photos, their emotions or reactions to other posts. The social media that they are using are owned by big companies such as Meta, Google, Amazon, or Apple. And that means that Emma and Emil aren't the real owners of the data that they share. The big companies have access to the data for free, and that's what Emil and Emma don't like about it. They would like to share the data and emotions mostly with friends or with someone they don't know, but for some reward.
Because we are, as Emil and Emma, we are thinking about the same problem as them. And that problem is how to share our emotions with each other safely without giving any automatic access to big companies. So we have created a brand new service called Emotions. It brings us, or Emil and Emma, possibility to become the real owner of our data, of emotions we would like to share. But how it really works? Emma is watching some video she likes, and she wants to share her feelings about the video with Emil. In order to share, she needs only 3 things: internet connection, connected MetaMask wallet into our website, which is called Emotional Wallet, and finally, some device with self-camera. Emma decided she wants to share her emotions about the video with Funny Rabbit. While she is watching the video, her emotions are detected through the front camera. And now, she can choose if she wants to share her emotions with Emil or with some video creators. Emma decided she wants to share her emotions with Emil. So now, Both of them can see the timeline of Emma's emotions, which were encrypted into the emoticons. There weren't saved any screenshots or video records from the camera, so Emma doesn't need to worry about her privacy.
We have asked young people if they would be interested in our platform. And besides that, we find out that 55% or more, than 55% of them are interested in what big companies do with the data that they have access to.
Also, more than 65% of people would be happy if there will be any possibility how they can share their emotions with friends. Also, 55% of people wouldn't mind to share their emotions with the third side if there will be some financial reward.
So emotions uses API, which is for detection of the emotions. And it is also connected to MetaMask, which users use to log in into the platform. If you want to share your detected emotions with someone, you will send them information through a smart contract, which is a safe mediator based on blockchain. But who can share those emotions and who can receive it? Emoter, the one who is watching the video, can share his emotions with other emoters who are basically his friends. Or he can share it with some MQuesters, who are the video content creators, and he will get some emo coins in reward. The business model here is very simple. We take a fee from every transaction made between emoter and MQuester. So now let's take a look on both emoters and MQuesters in greater detail.
What emotions brings to emoters people like us or Emil and Emma, people who want to share their emotions? Emoter will get their own real-time emotions and they can choose with whom they want to share it. They can share it with other friends or they can share it with video creators which are called MQuesters. Emoters also get the full control over their data and emotions.
For MQuesters, the video content creators, or those who want to get the real-time feedback, it is beneficial in the way that they can improve their content in the future based on those emotions. And also it is much cheaper and faster than creating some focus groups or asking people individually about their opinion. We have met with several people from video content industry. As you can see, we talked to 2 influencers from TikTok. They were both quite excited from our service. We also managed to talk with one of the most followed Czech YouTubers, Kovy, and he said that he can see our platform used in some big project, yes. Besides influencers, we also visited some bigger companies, for example, news reporting, Aktuálně.cz, and we also visited Česká televize. It is not necessary to be only direct video creator to use the platform. But emotions can be also used by marketing agencies, political parties, or practically anyone who wants to get real-time feedback on their video.
And this is only the beginning. In the future, there will be possibility to safely get data from the smartwatches or other devices which are having control over our movement.
So how does it end with Emil and Emma?
Thanks to us for finding them, they can still be as close friends as they were before. They also get some possibility to earn extra money, which they can use, for example, for traveling with each other.
So don't waste your time and become emoter too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very emotional presentation. Jury, are we going to get emotional too?
Thank you for this very interesting presentation. I have a question to the way how you gathered the customer insight, right? You asked young people exactly those questions you presented, or
Yes, it was those.
So did they know that they will be recorded by the camera?
Yes, it was stated in the questionnaire.
It was stated?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
On that note, you had the question, if I remember correct wording, would you mind sharing emotions with your friends? Did you specify what you mean by sharing emotions? What emotions? Did they know that it will be those emotions recorded during watching the video? Or was it just like, if I would like to share that I'm happy with you?
It was stated there, like in the braces. So yeah, we mentioned it, that they will be recorded or detected. Those emotions will be detected by the camera, and that those emotions will be shared.
Now, when you are recording them, how are you recognizing actually the emotions for the specific person, knowing that each of us has a different baseline?
Yeah, so for now, we use the API, and I know that everybody expresses their emotions differently. But as we stated, in the future there will be possibility to connect some smartwatches or other devices, so it will be much better recognizable which emotion is like the true one.
Okay, thank you.
One more, what is your implementation plan?
For the future? Or
implementation plan is, I guess, in process now, but maybe for the future? Because you didn't say when you are putting this on the market, how much time for more development it will need, what's your target market, where do you go, what are your plans?
Well, implementation is pretty clear. We will find a web hosting service that will host our front end or our web page, and people can go there, then they connect the MetaMask as they already said, and then they can just use the application via Web 3.0 and blockchain.
So basically it can be in a couple of days?
Yes, the solution is working.
It's just about finding the right web hosting that can host Python servers and Bootstrap front end.
And you believe that all of this can work without any marketing, and then people will come just themselves and use whatever you are providing? Implementation plan is richer than just putting it on the market. How do you do that? How do you inform people? How do you, if you plan some expansion, where are you based?
Okay.
Well, speaking of marketing, as we mentioned, we connected with some influencers, and the plan for the marketing is we want to join the influencers on developing a community around this application. So the influencers would share this idea with their audience, and these audience will just spread as they have like millions of views on videos, so like that.
Okay, so still check market with dollars. No change from last time. Thank you.
I would like to ask, what would be my emotion if I'm sleeping usually when I'm watching the film?
Okay, we are ready for it because we decided to include also attention index, and this index will tell you like if you still pay attention, and it can also like warn you that you don't pay attention, so the reward you get can be reduced.
Okay, thank you.
Have you had time to think about the ethics of using that? But after Cambridge Analytica, after Brexit, after Donald Trump winning the votes, and these things?
Well, that is a great question, and that's actually why we want to do this project. We actually want the data to get out of the Meta and the Google Analytics and those kind of services and get them to our clients. So the data they are getting, so they are already somehow inputting into their databases, and they can actually they create and own their own data, and they can do whatever they want to do with those kind of data.
Yes, that's right. But when somebody is buying the data, for example, the news, then they can collect the big data and use that to manipulate how the things are perceived.
I think it's on the community that uses the app to choose to whom share this data. So if the community knows that, for example, Cambridge Analytica does bias job, or so they just don't share the data with them. They can choose.
Okay, so you are not thinking per se that you want any regulation or any ethics behind that?
Since it runs at Web 3.0, the idea is not to regulate.
Yeah, okay.
Quick question from my side. Thanks for the presentation. Not sure, maybe I've missed that on the architecture slide. What are the relations to YouTube or other platforms of like video watching? Are there any prerequisites, or is it able to serve anything?
Well, now it works with YouTube videos. So the video you want to analyze has to be on YouTube, but it's only for now. And in the future, we will find, I believe, another way how to get to video.
For now, it's just the business case for presentation of our idea. In the future, it will be for a lot more products or services to somehow implement or join this kind of movement.
Okay, including something like iOS or Apple environment, watching together and all that stuff.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. I have a question about your business model. As I got it correctly, Idnes or whatever YouTube or whatever YouTuber Kovi will pay you to use your service to get the feedback from the users.
Yes, exactly like that.
That's the only source of the money for you?
Yep.
Have you considered, because I think there's great potential, like really big, when you will let Emily and the guy was Eda?
Emil and Emma.
Emil and Emma, thanks. And if you will let them share the emotions between two of them, and that's probably already showed that Emma saw some video with Dumpy, and this can create a big boom. Like if on one side there will be someone paying for the emotions, but the other way is that young people can share their emotions, and that's where you can gather most of the users, I think. So give them reward, not in the case of the money, but just like sharing the emotions, because sharing the emotions is the whole social network life. What are we now dealing with? It's nothing more than the emotions. So have you were thinking how to use this to expand the base of your users, to let Emma and the guy, Emil and Emma, share the emotions between them and use this as the main driver for the new users?
Well, truly, we haven't thought of that. Great question, by the way. And to answer that long question, it could be some kind of social platform that they can share it on. And the main question or problem will be those MQuesters that will provide these kind of videos currently to the platform so they can watch it on our platform and get those emotions.
One day there will be someone who will come to you and they will ask you if he can buy your data, what you will say, and they will give you a bunch of money.
We actually don't have any data. We don't store anything. Everything is those clients that are creating their own data or data steps.
It means that Kovi doesn't own his data?
Kovi owns data, but actually we as a, I think your question was to us, to our platform as a, like personally, if we have some kind of database. We don't have anything.
And does Emil, no, not Emil, does
Yes.
Kovi knows that what Emily ML likes? Like, is it a personal, or are you going to anonymize the data? Because if you are not going to anonymize the data, it can struggle with some GDPR stuff.
I got your question, and that's the part of Web 3.0. We can't really some kind of separate or get information about our users, so we don't really know, or they don't really know what kind of what the person is, like age, education, place, and etc. etc. If it is Czech video, well, he knows it's gonna be from Czech person.
Well, basically, you cannot match the wallet of the person with the person.
Okay, thanks.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Applause to the team 5.
This is the last day and the last couple of hours when you are together. It has been a year. You have spent together as a team. There has been a year when you have been working together on a project. This has been a year when you have been working on the data project. And the second year will be a bit different, because you will just go away to your internships. You will have only elective subjects, and you will be writing your theses and everything, but it won't be together. But I hope that you will keep the memories of that year, and we'll be meeting each other and supporting each other as you have been till now. So, this was a bit sad piece of news, I think, not only for yourself, but from myself, because I really enjoyed being with yourself. But now to the nicer part, because it's not over yet. We still have 4 hours. And I hope we'll try to enjoy them. Okay, it's time to present the results. But before that, I have to thank to our sponsors, because without them it won't be possible to just organize such an event. So it's a KPMG, Škoda Auto, and ČSOB. I'd like to thank to the organization team, Kamela, Martin, Sara, Bara, and others, because without them it won't be possible. Please, applause for them. I'd like to thank to our jury. Thank you for your time spending with us. I know it was long sometimes, but I hope you have enjoyed the innovative project. And by the way, I'd like to thank to all of you for being here and spending the time with us. I have learned a lot from your projects, and I hope that your feedback you will give us will help us to make it better for the next year. We would like to improve. So part of your next week assignment is not only to present the data projects, but giving us the ideas what could be better for the year which will follow. Now I will give word to Mirek. What you have taken from that?
Thank you, Otto, and first of all, thank to you for the opportunity to get exposed to much younger people. Some of you may know that this is my first year.
It has been also your first year, am I right?
Yeah.
You are more freshmen than they are.
Yeah, yeah, but I spent 18 years before in corporations, so and I see there one parallel. Yes, I have seen a lot of teams growing to the heights, which I was impressed, and now in this short, 2 to 3 months, I've spent very closely with some of you. I got the same impression that you as a team, you have grown significantly. All of you, and even during the technical presentations, I saw a lot of effort you put into these projects. So that's for me the one takeaway, that the teamwork, not everyone is a technical expert, not everyone is deep business expert, but together you worked really nicely. And this is what you will need in your future in business. And the second takeaway is, and that's again for you, I was fortunate to see many companies, many teams, many people in different roles being technologically or data naive. They had these high expectations they have learned from marketing materials that everything is possible. You just take the application, you throw the data in, and then you have the outcome, and it works. And all of you now know that it's not like that. It's not just the technology and the data, but it's a piece of art, it's a craft. There is still no AI which will do this for you from end to end. And I can say I feel confident that in your future roles, during the internship and in your professional careers, you will not be those who are technologically or data naive. So this is what I would wish for when I was younger. I haven't had a chance to have such projects like you have. It was actually very boring when I studied. So this is great. So all the best for you, and looking forward, maybe we will be in touch also next year with some of you. So thank you.
Hopefully. You are part of our team, so you will be leading some theses, being member of the examination committees. Yeah, all the pleasure in front of you. Okay, now's the time to get back to the challenge. I would like to ask Ivanka to summarize the opinion of the jury.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a wonderful evening. I wanted to start my speech actually with saying, I am jealous, but actually you have stolen it from me, because I've never went through such a great, inspiring way of learning as Otto and his team and all who are collaborating with him as they are preparing it for you. So good for you guys. And I think I am looking at the group of people who have really, really bright future in front of them. At least what I can judge based on what we have seen today. And everything what follows now will be data. So, we actually evaluated all of you in terms of numbers, in terms of number of points. The maximum number of points which we were judging was 50. The poll of 50 for each and every project. And now you make the math. The lowest assigned number from one juror was 10. The highest amount was 49. Okay, note it? You can even write it down, right? Like a data people. And then, when we calculated the average, we actually had the lowest number being 28.6. and the highest number to be 38.2. Now, is there anybody brave enough to tell me what does it mean? If you are not so brave, or you are very tired, I will tell you, it means that actually it was very difficult decision making. And that we had a lot of different opinions on each and every single project. So depending, you know, which specific company you would be presenting to, depending whether I am sitting there, or Petr is sitting there, or you are sitting there, or you may see different results. And it's reality in business, yeah? Because impressions make a huge impact. Personal experience of the people who are listening to you make a huge impact on the decisions they are making. Ability of you, how you are able to answer the questions, and what is important for me if I am sitting there and you are presenting to me, all those things are so important. Let me use the opportunity to share with you a few things which we have seen in more general. So first of all, I'm really, I don't know whether the entire jury would agree with me, but I think that the way how you presented, the PowerPoint or whatever you used, these were really excellent, simple slides, easy to understand, which didn't drive attention away from what you were saying, but rather underlying it. It was really well done. A majority of you also presented, if not all of you really, presented really, really well. It was visible that you prepared well, that you know your stuff well, and that you thought about the audience, what we will want to hear. And I applaud you for that. There were certain projects which were more mature, even already implemented, and there were some which are more in the design proposals. Now, several times we have seen that the project could have been evaluated much higher if you would approach the business opportunity slightly differently. And I know that you are data analysts, that you are data people, but this is the specific benefit, what you are taking away from this course, that it's not good enough to be able to analyze or use the tools or whatever, but you have to be able to convince the people. There you can actually come to us. I'm pretty sure that each and everybody from the jury will be willing to give you specific feedbacks, right? But we could see opportunities to present the business case much stronger. This also, and it could be a very easy thing, like swapping the importance, almost the order how you speak about things, because one is the business opportunity for the customer, for the paying customer, right? And the other one might be the way how you engage a lot of people so that you can generate those money, right? And the other thing what we have seen actually, so let me have a look, is maybe sometimes looking more realistically at the costs, just for future, for real life, you know. Nothing is ever zero cost. There is always a cost, at least opportunity cost, because if there are some people, they might be doing something else. So just think about it. We did not penalize much for these things, obviously. And yeah, my personal point of view is also that, you know, especially today, and then a year from now, it's probably totally different, right? But there was only one team who presented specifically and explicitly that you are using AI, while I suspect that more of you are using it. So being sensitive to what's going on around you and to which kind of, what terminology and what information the listener may be sensitive is very important. Very much so. So saying that, was it good enough or should we go to more detail?
It was good enough. It was excellent.
Super.
Thank you very much. And we are now, I think, 3 or 4 clicks from the winner. Okay, first click. Jury results. Okay, more clicks. So these are the points being awarded by the jury. Okay, next click. Technical results from the last week. Okay, someone already know. And the final results. So we have the winner. Next click. Next click. Emotions. Congratulations to the winners. And I'd like to use the sentence I'm using for several years in every such an event. The winners are announced and awards are awarded, but after party is for everyone.